Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Friday edition of Morning Scone presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, Parish Construction and Roofing. If you need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. If you need a roof, you call Parish. Unique Physique, uniquephysique.com, Restored Motions, restoredmotions.com, and of course, On Fire Athletes, the platform powered by GameCoin. Thanks for being here, y'all. I hope you're having a great start to your Friday. Insert obligatory cold weather joke here about the start of baseball season. I got it in the description there, but the LSU does have their media day today for baseball, and which is followed by the first practice for the 2025 LSU baseball Tigers, as we are 3 weeks away from the opener out of the box with LSU and Purdue Fort Wayne. So, whoops, that is not what I wanted at all. So it's going to be freezing, but they're going to practice and have an inter-squad scrimmage today, as they always do to start practice. So off they go here for the start of 2020, for the start of the 2025 season. Depending on which preseason publication you subscribe to, there's somewhere 2 or 3 in the country. I think D1 Baseball's got them 3, but chatted yesterday with Kendall Rogers on AFR, played a few clips from that on Locked on LSU for today's episode. And this is an LSU baseball team that has a deep pitching staff and, tons of arms to where, you're going to have to it's probably going to take a while to figure out who your rotation is going to be, not because you need somebody to step up, just because you're going to have a lot of dudes that you got to get innings to see who's going to take advantage of that opportunity. And then it never fails. You always go into the start of a season thinking you're starting 9, but there's always a surprise. Ashton Larson wasn't supposed to be an impact guy a year ago. Steven Milam wasn't a starter at the open of the season. But those guys ended up establishing their really key roles on that team. So, this will be an interesting first, 3 weeks of the season to figure out what this is going to look like once they start SEC play. So, but it all starts today. LSU baseball hits the practice field for the first time. All right. Y'all please smash the like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Thanks for being here. Yeah, you know the drill. Anything about anything, fire away. LSU football. Oh, the one thing on LSU football, I'll tell you. I did get it confirmed yesterday. So Amon Anand, the special teams coach they hired, will be an analyst. I was confirmed that he has not officially been hired yet. They have to do. He's a state employee, be a state employee, so he's got to go through all the things that you have to go through, background check and everything. But they do intend to hire him, and it's not officially done yet. But he will be an analyst on the staff, so he is not going to be one of your 10 full-time on-field staff members. So that tells me they are going to hire a tight ends coach as a full-time on-field staff member. So Amon Anand will be an analyst on staff. Jason H, good morning. Thomas, good morning. Transit days don't count for Jinglegate 22 tomorrow. I'm not in transit. I'm here. Oh, I wonder if you thought maybe because I was a little late to hit go live that I was in transit. No in transit today, man. And Drew's not back at school. They're out all week. Jeff, good morning. There you go, Thomas. Hey, Rex, good morning. Pat, good morning, everyone. I'm so done with all this Bring on Tiger baseball. Hey, man, it's not going to be long until we have some beautiful spring days. You know what I mean? Like crawfish boils and cold beer and LSU baseball and sunshiny days. Man, I am looking forward to that, especially after this. John, good morning. How's Drew? Happy anniversary. The Saints going to the Super Bowl. So it was today the anniversary of the NFC Championship game, the 24th? I'll tell you all a story. Yeah, that would make sense because Super Bowl's February 9th, wasn't it? February 7th. Well, I could look right here because I have the advocate from the Super Bowl, like literally right here. Monday, February 8th was the advocate. So it was Sunday, February 7th was the Super Bowl. Um, uh, so my family, Saints season ticket holders forever. My grandparents. So my dad's parents had seats behind the Saints bench on the 40. My mom's parents, actually, those were probably like between the 45 and the 50. My mom's parents had seats on the 40 behind the visitors bench, but 23 rows up. I mean, amazing seats. They were just directly across from each other in the dome, lower level. And at one point, my mom's parents gave up their tickets. It's got old, it's harder to go. Ticket price kept going up, so they let them go. But my papa, my dad's dad, didn't want to give them up, and so I started paying for them to keep them in the family. So I would go to some, and I'd sell some to try to make even money, whatever. So I did this for several years. It got to be just the prices got to be obnoxious. I mean, for a pair of tickets, it was I think $5,000. And I was a young guy. I couldn't. It got to the point where it was really hard for me to even front that money, even though I was going to sell some. Anyway, I wish I had them now, but whatever. But I had the tickets, and Erica and I had started dating in August of 2009. And of course, that was the season where the Saints were going to win the Super Bowl. And so for Christmas that year, our first Christmas together, I planned a trip for she and I to go to San Antonio. One of our best friends lives in San Antonio. They hadn't seen each other in a while. So I kind of, without her knowing, planned a trip, booked us flights. We were staying with her friends. Anyway, so I booked a trip for us to go to San Antonio, not realizing that I booked the trip because I had to book it. I think, I don't know, I asked her principal, like, if they were off school, if she could have off a day. Anyway, and it was kind of around my work. So I booked the trip for a long weekend at the end of January, and it was the NFC Championship game against the Vikings. So I was not at the NFC Championship game against the Vikings. I was watching that game in San Antonio with Erica at her friend's house, who we were staying with. A lot of people were like, "Yeah, I knew you were serious at that point if you were missing the NFC Championship game." And I was just an idiot. I never even thought. I mean, when I booked that trip so far in advance, nobody was thinking, "Oh, the Saints are going to go to the Super Bowl." I mean, the Saints are going to be in the NFC Championship game. Remember in 07 and 08, the Saints went back to back like 7-9, 8-8 seasons. Like it wasn't like they were going into that season thinking, "Oh yeah, this team's going to the Super Bowl." But booked it and we went. I had a great trip. Caleb, good morning. Think it's fair. Is it fair to think Mike McCarthy is a win now hire for the Saints? They need to be more rebuild with long-term coach like Matt McMahon at LSU basketball. I don't think any NFL coach has the luxury of being a long-term hire. I just don't think in the NFL they look at it that way. I think the league is set up whereby you can turn around in a hurry with a great draft and you hit on free agents or a quarterback. Right? Look at the Commanders. By the way, I'm going to post this link. Ross Jackson did a great job with this. So as much as we've talked about the cap situation, right? The Saints are due. Well, they're $52 million over the cap right now. The Saints are set to get some major cap relief for next year, whereas it projects right now they would be $60 million under the cap for next year. Now they got to restructure and they're going to kick money into future years. But anyway, the point is, like, you have some cap relief coming the next 2 years. And what that means, of course, is you can go be buyers in free agency, and you're going to have, hopefully, good draft picks and getting younger. So, anyway, I think my point in saying all that is, um, my point in saying all that is, um, I think the Saints' job next year is far more appealing than this year. Now, throwing this out there, and I don't think they're going to do it, but I would almost recommend doing what you did, what the Raiders did with Antonio Pierce. You retained your interim for 1 year. You went through it, but you're going to be a much better situation, much more attractive situation this year than they were a year ago. So look at the Saints. Bad quarterback situation, bad cap situation, bad rosters, bad everything. But next year, a lot of those older players and old contracts purge off your roster. You're probably going to be so bad this year that you have a high draft pick next year. The cap situation is going to be much better next year. Point being, the Saints' job next year will be dramatically more appealing than it is this year. And I almost go, man, retain Rizzy for a year, go in the tank, get a top 5 pick, draft Arch Manning, Nussmeier, whoever is, and I mean, next year's draft class, Drew Aller from Penn State. I'm not saying that I love that idea, but the point is, I think next year's like the quarterbacks for the 2026 draft, Arch, potentially Nico Imaliava, Lenora Sellers, Nuss, Jalen Daniels from Kansas, Drew Aller, Sam Levitt from Arizona State, Jackson Arnold, potentially Miller Moss, Carson Beck, Cade Klubnik, Connor Wegman. I mean, I'm not saying like all these dudes are going to be awesome. I'm just saying there's some that were super highly thought of at times. And you just have a deeper, I think, quarterback class to choose from. So if you're picking the top 5, you might be able to get your franchise quarterback next year. Anyway, let's keep going here. Please smash that like button if you would. Subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. Abner Neal, good morning. John, excited to see Shores on the mound. Me too. Cliff, good morning. Give me the best reason LSU wins the Natty and the wart on the team that will keep them from it. Well, I mean, the best reason they win the Natty is because I think they're probably LSU and Texas A&M have the most talented rosters in college baseball this year. And anything that would keep them from it, I would say that if you don't end up developing consistency in your rotation, I mean, we're hopeful that Chase Shores comes back from Tommy John and looks awesome. We're hopeful Cade Anderson from freshman to sophomore takes a big leap. We're hopeful Anthony Ianson can go from UC San Diego to the SEC and do well. We're hopeful Connor Ware can go from JUCO to LSU and do well. We're hopeful that Zach Cohen can go from Wofford to LSU and not miss a beat. I mean, you got tons of arms. You got tons of arms. We're hopeful William Schmidt as a freshman can be a key contributor. You got arms and you got talent, but those are all guys that haven't done it yet at the SEC level. So if there's one question, that would be it. Shane O'Mac, Liam Cohen is a dog, got Jacksonville's GM fired before taking the head coaching job. Any chance Brady and McCarthy could do the same with Loomis? Now, there was a report yesterday that Aaron Glenn wanted, someone mentioned it here to me. See if I can get, I'll show it to you if I can find it. Here it is. It was, I don't know who. Doug Rush. Hang on one second. So Doug Rush is a fan-sided writer for the Giants, and he had a tweet. about trying to find it. Trying to find this tweet. I don't see the tweet. It was something to the effect of Aaron Glenn wanted. Huh. Aaron Glenn. I can't find the tweet. Anyway, Aaron Glenn wanted Mickey Loomis fired if he took the job, basically, and they wouldn't do it. And again, I haven't seen that anywhere else. It was just this one tweet that somebody sent me. I haven't seen it from anywhere credible, anything else. But anyway, just one thing. All right, let's move on. And so no, I don't think the Saints are firing Mickey Loomis. Hey Mojo, good morning. Wonder if we might see signing from the transfer portal. There are a couple of Notre Dame linemen hitting the portal, but they're interior linemen. I don't think LSU's looking for another interior lineman. They need tackle help. I think what I was told again after the semifinals, when the safety from Penn State decided not to go in the portal, that they were done for now, and barring something unforeseen, and they would look again in the spring portal window for help potentially at safety and certainly at tackle. Hey Joel, good morning. I live in Florida. I've never been to the box. Planning a trip this year with my son. What's the ballpark ticket price for SEC game? Oh man, you can get in affordably. $20. You can get in. You can get tickets and you can get in for baseball. Especially with a 3-game weekend, it's rarely just a hard sellout. Like you're not getting in the stadium. I mean, like if you want to come in for, and again, I guess it depends what SEC weekend you're planning on coming for. But like when they play, Tennessee, that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, my guess is like, and that Saturday game's a night game, like Friday, Saturday are probably going to be tough tickets. You'll be able to get them, but that'll be a tough, like you'll probably have to buy secondary, but that'll be a tough ticket. But man, any other weekend, you'll be able to get in. Tiger Poppy, good morning, Matt. Good locked on. Thank you so much. Hard to think Bear Jones needs protection. Yeah, but you got to keep in mind, like, so what I was talking about in the episode was, does Bear Jones have protection in the lineup? And that means, like, could teams choose to pitch around him? That's what that means, to have protection in the lineup. Like, I gave the example of Dylan Cruz and Tommy White. So teams would intentionally walk Dylan Cruz to get to Tommy White, who led the nation in RBI. So it's like, okay, you walk Dylan Cruz, but now you got to face Tommy White, and he's going to make you pay for it. The question is, if teams pitch around Bear Jones and say, we're not going to throw to the guy who hit 28 homers last year, we're going to pitch around you and walk you, not give you anything to hit, can the guy behind him pick him up? So does he have protection in the lineup? So that was a big question for Tommy White last year. Would teams pitch around Tommy White? And by and large, they did. That's why you saw a high chase rate for Tommy White. He pressed a lot. You saw him swinging a lot of high fastballs. Like he was pressing because teams were pitching around him. But you had Bear Jones. So it's like, all right, if you want to put Tommy White on base, here comes the dude that could blast 28 homers. And the thing with Bear Jones early in his career was he had a high swing and miss rate. It was like, was a homer or a strikeout? Well, he really cut down the strikeouts and hit for average. He had 302 last year. So if Bear Jones hits 302 with 28 bombs, that's a pretty amazing season. Brad, good morning. Why are you so opposed to a retread? It just seldom works out in the NFL. There are examples where it does. Bill Belichick was a retread. Uh, Pete Carroll in Seattle was a retread. I mean, it works. There's times it happens. Todd Bowles has done well in Tampa. So there's times it happens and it works. Dan Quinn is having a nice year this year. I just think sometimes you have to be willing to infuse new blood and ideas to take that leap, to be able to find your Sean Payton, to be able to find your Sean McVay with the Rams, right? I think you have to be willing to explore the unknown to find. It's like the gold miners, right? Like you had to be willing to go west and take your shot, see if you can make it work. And a lot of them struggled rich, or you could play it safe and go with someone that's a little more familiar. That's a higher floor, maybe a higher ceiling, or higher floor, lower ceiling type coach. Hey, Jerry, good morning. Where did the Saints coaching search go after Glenn signed with the Jets? Yeah, man. It sounds like, they're going to interview Mike Kafka in person, Anthony Weaver in person, and they have plans next week to interview Mike McCarthy in person. The question is, do they hire one of those guys before the Bills or Commanders season ends, because they still want to talk to Joe Brady and Cliff Kingsbury. So, but they're not going to talk to them in person until their seasons end. So, it'll be very telling here in these next few days, especially if the Bills and or Commanders lose. Hey, Melody, good morning. Ready for baseball at the box. Glenn, James, Stat Dub, good morning. Joel, how can LSU's offense improve if Nuss's protection figures to decline with new tackles? Are we sure that Nuss's protection is going to decline? I think one of the things that Nussmeier did an amazing job of this year was getting rid of the football, being smart with the ball. So, and maybe you don't have Campbell and Jones. By the way, Emery played on a bum ankle this year and took a step back this year on a bum ankle. But that still doesn't mean so you may not have a first rounder at left tackle. Doesn't mean you'll be bad. So let's also see, man. Let's see what it looks like. You didn't have Campbell or Jones in the bowl game against Baylor, and they didn't touch Nussmeier. Sometimes that's chipping with a tight end, or leaving a back end to block, or getting creative with how you get the ball out quick. I mean, there's all different ways you can avoid pressure, but LSU's got plenty of weapons, man. I think they'll be fine. Rex looks like Saints got lucky with the projected cap. Not this year. I mean, Glenn, Brett, Thomas. Yes, last day to vote. Thank you. By the way, all right, Thomas, here you go. Let's do it real quick so we can knock this out.
Parish Construction and Roofing. At Parish, we've got you covered. From the top of your roof, all the way down. Parish Construction and Roofing. Parish built. Parish built. Parish built. From your hometown. ParishBuilt.com.
All right, y'all. Parish Construction and Roofing. Today is the last day to vote for the best of Baton Rouge. Excuse me. I would greatly appreciate it. Just posted the link in the comments again. Today's the last day to vote, 5 p.m. You could vote every day. So if you already voted, you can vote again. You don't have to punch in an email or anything like that. It'll take you 10 seconds. I'll show you how quickly this is to vote. I'll do it. Time me. Ready? Go to Best of Baton Rouge. Hit Home and Garden. We're going to scroll down to Roofing Company. We're going to find Parish Construction and Roofing. And this is the hardest part, just finding it on the sheet, because they keep moving them all around, which I guess is fine. There it is, right near the top today. Boom. And then review and cast my ballot. Done. How long did that take me? 10, 15 seconds, maybe. I greatly appreciate it. So Home and Garden, Roofing Company, Parish Construction Roofing, cast my ballot. It's that easy. I would greatly, greatly appreciate it if you would do that. Gunner, good morning. Tom, thank you, man. Michael Cook, good morning. Kelly Gross, good morning. Ant, good morning. Are there odds about the Saints coaching search of who's in the lead? There's no place, maybe something like the last I saw was Brady, but hmm, see if they got updated odds. Wow. So 4 days ago, Aaron Glenn and Mike McCarthy were tied with the best odds. That was before Glenn took the job. So McCarthy would be the betting favorite. Then Joe Brady would be next. That was from Bet365. Gregory Gordy, good morning. Jerry, did you see the Saban interview on the pivot? Did I see it? Come on, Jerry. Jerry. I watched it within an hour of it dropping. I tweeted about it. I posted on Instagram about it. I talked about it here on Morning Scone. I talked about it on Locked on LSU, all on Tuesday, Jerry. Just 3 days ago, Jerry. Dang, Jerry. Thought you were my boy, Jerry. Come on, Jerry. Did you see the pivot? I had Hunt Palmer write about it at LouisianaSports.net. I wrote the story about it at LouisianaSports.net. Hunt wrote a column about it at LouisianaSports.net. Jerry, did you see the pivot? Trivia, good morning. Jerry, I'm going to tell you, man. I mean, Jerry, you went from like Scone P1 to like, I mean, you went down a notch on the ladder, Jerry. It's my guy. Rocky, good morning. Dale, good morning. Yes, sir. Jordan, thoughts on the Lady Tigers in Columbia today? Well, first of all, they don't call them the Lady Tigers anymore. I feel obligated to say that whenever people put Lady Tigers. They just call them the LSU women's basketball team. They're the LSU Tigers, the women's basketball team. So they dropped Lady Tigers. Yeah, I think they'll lose. I mean, I don't mean to be negative, but LSU hasn't beaten South Carolina in like, I don't know, 20 years in women's basketball. And Kim Mulkey hasn't beaten them yet. I'm trying to see if there's a line on that game yet. ESPN's matchup indicator has South Carolina 87%. I mean, I'm hopeful, I'm hopeful that maybe because it's at 4:00 on a Friday afternoon instead of prime time on Thursday evening with game day there and everything, the atmosphere won't be as good. Maybe LSU sneaks one out, but yeah, I mean, it's hard to pick them. Glenn, good morning. Who do you think the Saints take with their first pick? No idea, man. No idea. Kyrie, let's beat South Carolina. I'm with you, man. Brian Wynn, how long does it take you to write an article on your website? It depends on the article. If I'm writing a feature story or a column, maybe about 20 minutes or so, depending on how long. But if I'm writing a newser story, a news story, I can do that in 3 to 5 minutes. So, all right, guys, I hate to bounce. I know there's a bunch you haven't got to. I'm very sorry for not getting to them, but I do have to go because of the parish meeting. I have an errand to run, and then I got the parish meeting at 9, so I got to get going. So thank you all so much for watching. Please smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, Facebook, like the page, share the post. All of our sponsors linked in the description on YouTube, tagged on Facebook. Locked on LSU is live, AFR3, and please vote for Best of Baton Rouge. I'll post the link one more time here. But again, Locked on LSU on your favorite podcast app or on YouTube, AFR3, and please vote for Parish Construction and Roofing. I just posted the link again. All right, y'all have an awesome day. See ya. Peace.